I want that. I have no desire. I have no need for it. Every time I come over here, every single time, it never fails. I'm like, I'm content. I'm good on the equipment that I have. I don't need nothing else. Then I come to his house and I look around. I'm like, you know what? I don't have that. I'll probably need 3 of those.
I just bought this boom mic, the boom pole for the light. I bought that the other day because you know those flimsy ones that they come with? Trash. So this one is a lot more steady. But let's not. Gear is gonna be a whole nother fucking episode and topic. We can talk about that shit for hours and hours on it.
Oh my god. This is entrepreneurship. When you see what other people have, and then you start buying up stuff you don't need.
It's especially hanging around your ass.
Man, it never fails. Never fails. All right.
All right. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Vision Board Podcast. Today, I got a special guest, man. I'm excited about this one because, one, the guy that's sitting here, and two, the subject that we're talking about today. So we wanted to talk about social media and how that impacts your business and the whole niche behind that.
Oh, man.
So without further ado, man, let me introduce my boy, Simeon Robinson, a.k.a. Sim Shots.
That's when you insert the applause.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Man. Thank you for coming through. So, yeah, man, just so, people can kind of get a little bit of insight on you. Tell a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, and
oh, man.
Let's get it going.
I feel like that story is going to be long. Well, to say and sum it up, reasons, I would say I've been an entrepreneur full-time in this for about 2 years now. I started because of the whole pandemic with COVID, had me furloughed and then laid off from my recruiter job in freight, which was not a very interesting job, but it paid me well. So I was like, I'm going to keep this. I don't really have a need to be an entrepreneur, own my own business. I was doing it part-time, but I didn't have a need to do it full-time. I'm good. My bills are paid. I'm saving, going on trips. I got PTO. I have no reason to stop. The benefits are good. But being laid off kind of puts you in a crazy spot in 2020, especially in 2020. When places are not hiring, people are losing more jobs and finding more jobs, and you have to figure it out. Yeah. So for myself, I was already doing this part-time, but because people were losing jobs, they didn't have a need for media. They didn't have a need for a photographer. They were trying to save money. They're not trying to spend it. Yeah. And I was getting into this dark place because I didn't know where I was going to find my next job. A lot of the events that I booked were getting canceled. So I'm like, man, what am I going to do? And then the word non-essential is getting thrown around everywhere.
I remember that.
Oh my gosh. I was so I was depressed because I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So maybe for like a month or two, I started doing like DoorDashes and like those grocery apps just to make it happen. Because I have a wife, I have a son. I'm not going to fail. They got to eat. The lights got to stay on. I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Absolutely.
So fast forward a month or two, I'm doing that successfully, and jobs are starting to come back slowly. But for small businesses, they're like, I know we're supposed to be closed, but I got to eat. And I was in the fitness industry. So you have these trainers, and I hope I'm okay with saying all this, but I have these trainers who are privately opening up their gyms, not to the general public, so that I can work with them and they can just keep the clientele coming, but on the hush hush. Yes, so they kept the doors closed, but people were going through the back door to train. Yeah. So I'm like, cool. So maybe for like a good year, I'm fitness savvy. Everything is fitness video. And after that, I started finding my niche. Like, okay, I can do this full time because now I'm generating so much business for people who need to brand their social media. I started to see what was important about making sure my clients' pages were healthy, were up to date, follow the algorithm so they can keep generating traffic. And I think overall the last couple of years has been a crazy journey, and it's not over, but I think it showed me a lot about what social media can do for your business, because I've gotten so many referrals through social media and big opportunities. I'm going to New York next week for Fashion Week, and I'm excited about that, just to film it. Yeah. And it was because of social media. It was because of what I did and how it generated traffic.
So that's a great segue, because today's topic is about social media and the way and things, how social media can impact your business, what you need to be doing on social media, especially in this new day and age where business is kind of in this new 21st century type of realm, and what social media can do for your business, what it's done for my business, your business, and things like that. So if you're watching this and you're starting a business from scratch, or you've been in the business for a long time and you're like stuck in your old ways, pay attention to what we're going to talk about today, because social media has evolved so much. It's not just about social. It's not just a social platform anymore. No. These social media accounts are businesses, and people are running their businesses through these platforms and getting really successful at it. So let's start it off with just talk a little bit about the importance of social media through your eyes, and like what people should do when they get started, the whole social media game, and whatever business that they run, because it doesn't really matter.
I always tell people to start with themselves, in the sense of check how many times you're checking social media throughout the day. Not posting, but how many apps you hop on just on a daily basis. Anytime you pick up your phone, you're either checking your text messages or you're checking your page, seeing if somebody liked your pictures, commented, DM'd you for whatever reason. So I think when you can start in the aspect of how quickly you hop on, I know people that get on their phones and they're starting to swipe and they didn't even realize it. They're just on it. Yeah. And it's such a boredom driven type of app that you just kind of get on out of nowhere. You just start swiping. It's an important concept that you have to be in the faces of the people you're trying to reach.
Yeah, because just social media just in general, right? Because when people get on, not even talking about the whole business side of it.
Yeah.
It captivates us so much, and we're so drawn into that world. It's that FOMO feeling, right? It's that fear of missing out. Yep. And when you're constantly on social media and just swiping through, you next thing you know, you've been swiping for like 2 hours, 3 hours.
Man, don't get stuck on the toilet. You'll be there like you've been done, but you just sitting there.
There's been times where I've been driving home from work and I'll park, and then I'll hop on my phone and start swiping through social media, and next thing I know, I'm sitting in the car for an hour.
Oh my god!
Just on the phone, like what am I doing? Like what is going on? So just having that. Just knowing that fact, that in of itself, how people are just constantly on their phones, swiping through. If people aren't seeing your stuff, or people aren't seeing you on a daily basis, you don't exist.
Right. Yeah, it's very true.
You know what I mean? And from a business standpoint, there's, we talk about it all the time, especially stuff off camera. There's so many businesses out here. I'm talking about big business, Nike, Sony, all these other companies aren't even putting out commercials anymore.
No,
they're going straight to
it.
They're going straight to the creator, and they're telling creators like, yo, we got this new product, do a review for us on social media, and we'll reach out to your audience and things like that. That's becoming the new norm nowadays. So if you're not on social media, I don't want to say you're going to fail and you're missing out, but you, in this day and age,
what are you doing?
You are behind.
What are you doing? I really think it's because people like to engage. Yeah. So in a commercial, you watching TV, there's no way for you to like it. There's no way for you to tell that product what's on your mind. But now we have avenues where we can literally leave a comment. You can like it. You can dislike it.
Yes.
You can share it. You can repost it. You get to really engage with your audience. So when you're trying to get leads for whatever job, you can be a fitness trainer, you can be a real estate agent. You got multiple professions, and you don't want to engage the traffic you have coming in. That's an issue, because now we live in a personality-based world. Where people want to see your personality. They want to not just see your product. They want to know how you live.
Exactly.
And if you can't provide that, why should I trust you with my business?
Yeah. Or any type of job that
anything. I'm like, I want to know who I'm getting in business with. The best way for me to see that in an authentic way is go to your page.
Yep.
What am I going to find? I see people all the time. They have businesses and they have their page on private. I'm like, what are you doing?
Makes no sense.
Why have you have a gate in front of what people need access to.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're selling. I may have heard about you from somebody else. They tagged you or whatever in their story, and I go to find you, and I have to go through the gatekeeper.
Yeah. It's almost like here's like an analogy. It's like having a liquor store or any type of store, like a department store. You're open
Right.
from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Right.
Right.
But you have a lock code on your door for people to get in. So people try to come in, they don't know the lock code, they'll just go away. It's like you just lost a potential customer, and it's not just one customer. That customer can come in, have a great experience, and go tell 10 people.
Exactly.
Those 10 people can go tell another. You know what I'm saying? And it's a ripple effect. So, and I want to say this too, because being on social media is not necessarily, because I know it can be one of those things where it can get overwhelming, especially when you see other people on social media that are doing a lot, posting a lot, having millions and millions of followers and tons of engagement, likes, and all that other stuff. You don't necessarily have to have all that to run a successful business online. Yeah. Right. So I tell people all the time, it's just like, it's not about your like count. It's not about your following count. It's about your overall engagement. Right. So when you put out a post and your post only got 50 likes, you have to go into your analytics. This is why you need to convert your Instagram page into a business page. Account, yes. So you can go in and see your analytics and see what your posts are actually doing. Because I posted something a while ago. It was a video. It had about 700 views and about 70 likes or whatever. Pretty decent numbers for somebody that's small time like I am. But I went to the analytics and I looked. It was shared 47 times.
Oh dang!
You know what I'm saying? So like that matters. 47 conversations that people are having on your content. That matters. That matters. And I think from that, people started hitting me up, and that's how I got other people kind of coming in and wanting to work with me. And I wouldn't have gotten that if I didn't post on social media.
It is it's an interesting thing, because I know people who feel too old for social media.
I did, and I'm only fucking 30.
Right? I mean, I feel like social media can be a fun thing, but it's definitely a beast, and it depends on how you use it. So you can always start small. Just post your family, post your pets, post your hobbies. There's no pressure in trying to drive in traffic. You're just showing the world what you enjoy. When you get into the business side of it, it can become overwhelming, but it doesn't have to, especially because a lot of the people that I know, they kind of pipeline their team into doing the social media stuff for them. If you don't have a team, that's completely fine. But there are ways that you can create a calendar for your content, so it makes it easier to post, and you're not looking at social media just as an app. Right. It's an extension now of your business. And if you look at it like it's just what's the word? It is, I don't want to say, what is the word I'm trying to use? It's like optional. Yes. It's not optional anymore. No, it's when you have these big brands who are constantly posting all the time, and you're this little brand not posting anything, what makes you think you're going to gain any attention from the people out here?
Exactly. And I kind of like, from our profession, we're in the content creation world and filmmaking. I don't like saying content creation anymore, but us as filmmakers, when we post content, like, we can have filmmakers out there that are not as good as we are. Right. That are, and I've seen them. There's guys out there that are just not good, but they're getting so much business because they're just posting. Yes. And the posts that they're posting aren't necessarily good. It's not necessarily engaging, but they're posting. And the reason why they're getting so much engagement and feedback and business from their posts is because like I said, when people are scrolling through, when they're standing in line at the grocery store or sitting in their car and they're just scrolling, if people aren't seeing you on a consistent basis, you're disappearing. To them, you're not working. I went on a streak one time where I didn't post for like 3 weeks. And people hit me up. It was like, "Damn, are you still?
Did you quit?
Did you quit? Are you still doing your thing?" It's like I haven't seen it. It's like, "Oh no, I'm just busy. I got to get." So for me, like, I've always been that type where it's like it's so hard for me to continuously post all the time, because make no mistake, posting is a job.
Yeah, for sure.
It takes work.
For sure.
To do that. So when you see people that have this crazy following on Instagram, it's not just, they're just posting stuff. They have to set a schedule. It's work, man. So they have to put that time in, edit the videos and do photos and all that, and do all this other stuff. But if you set that time aside and you do it, it's gonna be beneficial to you. It's because the days of handing out business cards, or going door to door and trying to get business is like Stone Age now. Yeah. Right.
And you definitely don't want your business model to be related to old ways of doing things, especially because technology is always changing. One of my fears is that technology will outgrow my way of thinking, and then I'm going to be left behind. Like, you miss one app and all of a sudden you're like years behind, because there's so many. Think about TikTok. I feel like TikTok is still like 4 years old now, and a lot of the terminology, a lot of the trends, a lot of the behaviors, they come from this app.
Yep.
So when you see people out here acting a certain way, laughing at certain jokes, and you don't know what it means, you're not on the inside joke of it, there's conversations you can't have, because it's just like, there was a time I was on a job and there were people there I didn't know, and I see them making a TikTok. So while they were doing it, I was in the back doing it with them, like just a stupid little dance. And they saw me, and then they laughed, and then we just started networking, because I knew what they were doing and I knew what they were doing it for.
Yes.
So there's conversations that's added on top just because I knew the technology in the app. And when it comes to posting, when it comes to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the apps that you may run from, there are certain conversations you can't have just because you don't know what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
And if you're afraid, or if you're lazy, afraid and lazy are not the same to me. You can be afraid and still do something, but you cannot be lazy and still do something. You will run from it forever. You will always do it tomorrow. It'll always be a day behind you, because you just feel like you can't find the time when really you won't make the time. And it's an important part, especially if you're a business owner. You cannot go into this 2022 not posting anything.
It's impossible.
There's no way.
You can't.
Oh, so frustrating, because I talk to a lot of people about this all the time. Before we get into filmmaking and what type of like video or photos they want, we have to talk strategy.
Right.
What does your page look like? Is this your website? Is this going to be YouTube? Like, what is this for? Okay, it's for your social media. So just Instagram. Do you have more than that? No. Okay, so just Instagram. Let me see your page right now. It's unorganized. It's like a dream catcher. There's a picture of a butterfly. just random. It has nothing to do with their business model. And this is the only page they have. When somebody comes to your page for your business,
you got one shot to wow.
What do you think they're going to see? They're going to see this random melange of you look like a hoarder.
Yeah.
Like, you're just taking pictures of random stuff. You have quotes that don't match your business model.
Yes.
It's just unorganized, and it doesn't look professional. So I'm in and out real quick.
Yeah. Try this on for size, right? So in the modern day era, 2022, nowadays, if you look at Instagram and social media as nothing else, look at it as a free website.
Yes.
For your business.
Right.
It's free.
Right.
It's a website. People visit your Instagram more than they would visit your actual website.
That's 100% facts.
There's businesses I've never even been to their website before, because everything's just on their Instagram
That's
and their social
facts.
media. You know, Instagram added a fefeature where you can have a shop thing now, and you can just one button click and just add it to your cart and just buy it right off Instagram.
You know, that's funny, because I just got the analytics today for my website, and I had like 50 visits in a month.
Yeah.
And the analytics per day on my social media platforms are like thousands more.
It doesn't even make sense.
It's just faster to me. Even if I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were just talking about the differences in like YouTube's versus social media platforms. Yeah. You can scroll. You go onto social media platforms to scroll. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
Google, YouTube is specific. You got a restaurant near me, electrician near me.
Right.
You have specifics that you type in, and then you see it. But for social media, this is all you're doing, constantly.
I can't tell you how many times I've been scrolling through Instagram, seen something cool, went to their page, and was like, "That's dope. I'm gonna buy it."
Buying stuff just from scrolling.
Like I bought Steph so much stuff from just seeing some cute little stuff that I know she like on Instagram. Right. And when you click on something, they get the algorithm, so they just start flooding your feed with all of that.
Yep.
That's why you need to have a specific niche to your page. So if you're putting stuff out and you're putting out ads and things like that, you need to have certain keywords that when people click on something and you start getting flooded with everything else, you want your stuff to be a part of that thing that they're getting flooded in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
I know there's some people on their pages, they will never make an Explorer page, not ever. Just because there's nothing that you're creating that people can. I know there are certain creators that I go to because I know the type of content they post.
Exactly.
It won't be random.
Right.
And I go to those pages for information, or pages to make me laugh, or pages for fitness, or like there's just so many categories, and it's like a store.
Yeah.
Nobody likes going into a store and not knowing where to find what they need.
Yes.
And social media is the same thing in my eyes. When you go to someone's page and you don't know what you're going to get, it's like,
You're not going to spend that much time there.
no, you won't.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll look at your story, but it's just hopping around to so many different things. I get it, but I also don't know what I'm coming there for. And when you have somebody thinking too much, especially when the attention span is getting shorter,
Yeah.
they're out of there.
A good analogy to that is like you walking into a Walmart, a big department store. You're not necessarily knowing what you're in there for, so you just start walking around. And yeah, maybe you might find something you like, maybe you won't. But I can sit at home and in a fraction of the time type in something on Amazon and have it at my door tomorrow.
I was just going to say that. If I find something specific, I'm going to look for it somewhere else. Like, what is that? Oh, let me go type this in somewhere else.
Exactly.
And then you become that person on YouTube or Google or Amazon just because you know I can see specifically what I wanted. Now I'm going to look for it somewhere else. And that's what you don't want.
Look at this, guys. I just randomly right now, I just got a random message on my phone from Nike just telling me about something that they just released.
I'm telling you.
If that would have been a commercial, I wouldn't have seen it. It came straight to my device. And
Engagement.
It's all about engagement.
It's a personal engagement. These
emails
now
So
have
now
your name.
I kind of want to switch gears a little bit into it because I feel like those are the reasons why people should be more conscious about social media. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that aren't creators like ourselves that find it hard to create content, come up with ideas for content, and that's where a filmmaker come in. That's where a creator will come in and like show you how to make content or make content for you and book a shoot and things like that. So if you're out there and you're somebody that needs content, there's a ton of creators out here. And I'm not saying you have to go through me, you have to go through Sim, but there's so many people that do what we do in your region and your vicinity that you can reach out to and just kind of like, book a shoot. And I know people have this notion of thinking it's always super expensive, but if you really, and this is where you come in because I know you have a lot of this knowledge, but if we really look at it, the cost for, let's say, a 1 minute video, $300 to $500, right? The engagement that you can generate from that and the potential growth and sales that you can have from an engagement video can be in the thousands of dollars, right? You can make one video, put that out to social media and just keep blasting it out to the world and make an endless amount of money just off that one. Because again, social media is a worldwide platform, especially if you're selling something that you can just ship to people. You don't have to just set up a lemonade stand out. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do it in your hometown.
Right.
You have access to everybody in the world, and that's why it's so powerful.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I could talk about this so long because you're 100% right. I feel like now, because of all the avenues social media has created, you can't afford to not be in the race. You cannot afford to not be in people's faces. So when you are hiring someone to do your content for you, because it takes a team, content feels like a heavy job because it is a job. You can go on Indeed and type it in and they have salaries for it. It is a job. So when you're talking content now for a business, no longer just for the sake of doing it, you are trying to take on 2 responsibilities, 2 jobs, and you might not have time for a second job. That's how I tell people to look at it. Do you have time for a second job? Anywhere. You don't? So maybe you need a team. Maybe you should start looking into an intern. Now in like a 3-mile radius, you can have like 50 people who own cameras and they're trying to be, content creators or filmmakers.
Everybody owns a camera.
Right. So even if you hired your nephew, if you hired your niece, if somebody has a camera and you just need it set up, you can start there. You can just start messing around and exploring. There's no fumbling. And in social media, you don't even have to be perfect to get a lot of followers now. You can mess up, fumble. You can be a stay-at-home mom and have millions of followers.
And that's the thing. I want to touch on that. The whole messing up and fumbling thing. I feel like that gets more people engaged on who you are.
Oh, man.
And if I go to somebody's page and I see them messing up and I see them having fun with it and stuff like that, it's gonna entice me more to do business with them because it's like, yeah, they're a real person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're not just like, every time posting something that's super crisp, super clean. And then when you get to a point where you're trying to post everything that's so perfect, because we deal with clients all the time. Oh, I want this change. Oh, I want the littlest things, and I'm in the back of my head, it's like, you're missing the point.
Yes, sir.
Perfect is never going to be done.
It's not relatable.
And perfect is not relatable. Something, and honestly, you want to kind of have mess ups, because if you have a mess up, somebody's going to comment on it. And now people are talking about your content and are engaging with your social media account.
Preach.
I don't know what else to say to get you guys to buy into this whole social media game, because I honestly, it took me a long time. This was a guy that I told him about my social media, me wanting to get on YouTube and start a podcast. I told him this, about a year ago?
Yeah.
And I just started my podcast a month ago. So it took me a long time to build up the courage to get in front of the camera, because I'm always behind the camera, to get in front of the camera finally and just start talking. And to my surprise, when I did that very first YouTube video that I did, and it was just about why I should get people to go on YouTube, that post the teaser that I posted on Instagram got over 2,500 views. And I'm sitting there, and it's got a ton of engagement, people sharing it, liking it, saving it, and I'm just like, what? People, because
they love it.
Believe me, like I was that guy who was like, people don't want to hear me. People don't, they don't want to hear me talk. They don't. I ain't nobody special. I ain't famous. I got like under 1,000 followers, and by the way, I just hit over 1,000 followers on Instagram. So insert
applause.
But it's all organically. So, and it's all engagement. So it's just like, for me, it that whole fear of me doing it. When I started doing it, I realized it wasn't a fear at all. It was just me thinking I needed to be perfect, thinking I needed to be the next Peter McKinnon or the next, all these other creators that are out there that are making a ton of money. And you don't have to be that.
No, I feel like the people that inspire me intimidate me when I set up the cameras. Yes. And I'm like, they talk so well. Like they say it so smooth. The way they talk about specs, man, I'm not going to talk about specs like that.
Yeah, you got to be smart to talk about this stuff, and I don't know it that well.
I will be reading through my little paper right here, looking up every now and again, because I know that my personality type doesn't care too much about spec numbers. Yeah. Sometimes I just like the way something looks. I'll go to somebody's YouTube just to see the pictures. They'd be like, hey, guys, we're going to take pictures. Here we go. Boom. And we get right into, oh, man, I love that.
Yeah, I'll go to YouTube.
Because that's all I cared about.
Just to see somebody's setup.
That's
it.
See
their camera, see their lighting setup. And it's just like, and all that, especially being in the creative space that we are in, it inspires us to go out and create more.
Yes.
But if you let it be a crutch, it can also be a crutch too, because if you see stuff like that and be like, oh, I'll never get to that point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is one thing that I learned about business just in general. You surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do, and you kind of go in, it's like, damn, they're like at this level, and I'm never going to be able to get to that level. You hang out with them for a week,
right? I
guarantee you're going to be thinking different. He's like, yeah, they're not doing anything crazy.
Right.
They just have to tweak this, and I know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I just have to implement it.
And it's so big. You're so right. Now that I've gone through so many different avenues of my professions, like being a trainer, recruiter, dealing with people on different levels. I get to see the personal growth of people in almost everything.
Yes.
So, and content is no different. I feel like when you can consistently do content, wait a year, just post every now and again, keep posting, go back to your very first one. You're going to be like, what is this? Was I? You guys let me dress like this? Look at the colors. The audio is terrible. Why did I use that lighting?
My God.
Because growth is a part of every process. It is just a part of life. You will never start something and just be 100% great at it. And if you are great at it, a year from now, you're going to be greater, and you're still going to not love what you did a year ago. So I think people have to fall in love with the process of content creation or just posting.
It's the process.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's the process.
Because you'll get there eventually, but you have to, there's no rewards in inconsistency.
Yeah.
Content is no different. I feel like when you're specifically consistent in your lane, you see the rewards from it by getting leads.
Absolutely.
I've gotten more people now who are young filmmakers asking me questions.
Oh my God.
I never thought I would get to that point.
Man.
I had somebody recently ask me if I had a photography course. And I'm like, I was like, oh my God, okay. You want to learn from me? Okay. But now I see.
So powerful.
Right. Now I see how people like the people that I watch, the Peter Lindgrens and the Peter McKinnons, and I can see how, yeah, okay, I bought their course because I believed in their product.
Yeah.
And people see my product and they believe that I can teach them something. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, just like you said, it's all about getting in that space and just trying to like just get in tune with these people, because there's one thing that I've done in my past where I kind of regret, because I felt like I would have been a lot further in my journey if I had just do it. Right?
Don't you hate that?
Oh my God. Yes. Because like, and you were saying something about like if you start doing what you're doing, keep posting, go back a year from then and see your content and be like, damn, what? I'm getting to a point now where it's almost happening on a weekly basis.
You're growing that fast.
I'm growing. You know what I'm saying? I look back on a week ago and I'm like, whoa. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for me, what kept me from posting a lot, especially when I was coming up, because I knew I wasn't good, right? And this is what was holding me back. And I want to share this story so somebody watching it doesn't hold you back. I was getting to a point where I didn't want to post something that I really wanted to post because I knew it wasn't as good as the people that I've seen, right? So like I would hold on to it. I was like, oh, no, it's not ready yet. I'm gonna post something else that's more dope, right? Right. So then I just kept holding on to stuff, and I kept holding on to stuff, and I'm creating these videos for my clients, which my clients love, but I feel like it's not good enough for my page. And I'm seeing it, and I'm like, why? If my clients love it, why wouldn't anybody else, right? So I started slowly posting client work, and people were like, yo, your videos are dope, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh. Yes. I am doing something right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out here just, fucking around. And no. Because we are all of us out here winging it. Right. If anybody out here in this entrepreneurship world telling you that this is the end all be all, this is the exact way you have to do things, they don't know. No. That's what's worked for them, but you have to do what works for you. So when you're trying to do something in this space, and you're trying to, whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it be fitness, camera gear, or anything. If you want to be a Ninja Turtle and you just go out there and be the best Ninja Turtle. I use that analogy a lot, but it's so real, especially in today's day and age. Yes. Like, it's something as crazy as like, oh, I want to be the greatest Ninja Turtle that ever lived. You be that, and I guarantee you, somebody will come along, put you in a movie, put you on a TV show. Yes. You'll have millions of followers on, and going back to social media, man. Whatever crazy idea that you have in your head, there's a whole industry for that on social media. When I was first getting into the camera gear, I didn't know the community was so big as it is. When I was first getting into training, I didn't know the training community was so big. Every community, no matter what it is, it has a huge horseback ride. Yes. I agree. I feel like it's like when you buy a car, then you start to see it everywhere. Yes. It's like, I had no idea this car and this color was so popular. Yeah, it's true. I've noticed that in the niche of filmmaking, I started to look for people for inspiration and had moments of intimidation, like what you were saying for your page. And it's normal. It's normal. Because I'm like, dang, I would look at gear. I thought gear did the job. I had no idea that it was the person behind the camera, because don't look around all this gear that I got.
Man, I'm telling you, if you see this room, you will walk in and walk out of intimidation, because there's real lights in here, there's real cameras, there's real audio equipment. It's crazy. You walk in here and get intimidated because it's like, I want to be a filmmaker, but I can't afford this. Start with your kit lens, because that's how I started.
Start with your cell phone,
right? And it'll blow up. Just out of consistency. I don't know how long this has been accumulated, but I'm sure it wasn't like day one, day two. It took years and a lot of consistency, a lot of practice, a lot of honing the craft, a lot of learning, a lot of adding value to become somebody who knows how to operate all this, knows how it's going to sound, know how it's going to look, and then create something for your business that other people will fall in love with.
Absolutely.
And I had people love my stuff. When I look back 2 years, 3 years ago and see my first fitness video, I did it for Vanessa. I did it for my wife, and it was so garbage. It was, and she loved it. She loved it so much. But now that I see and know what I know and added value to myself, I can see the growth.
Yeah.
And now I can appreciate it because I knew I put in the work to become who I am now. Absolutely. And what I do. So when people contact me asking for help and tips and advice, I freely give it because I'm like, I remember what it was like.
I remember being in that same spot just
right.
2 years ago.
And I had questions nobody could answer, or the people that I would ask that I respected, they read my message and didn't respond.
It's such a baseline question. It's like, it's such a basic question. Like, why are you asking me this?
Yeah. Like, go YouTube it.
Yeah.
I remember people saying that to me too. 100%. Like, yeah, if you're serious, go YouTube it. And it's true. Like, you know what? I didn't Google this. My fault. But that's what social media is for, is the engagement.
Exactly. So here's the power behind that and the whole go YouTube it thing. Because I feel like if somebody's coming to me and asking me a question, I'm never going to say, go YouTube it. Because if that person's coming to me, they're coming to me for a reason, right? I've inspired something in them to ask this question.
Exactly.
So I'm going to do my due diligence. Even if I don't know the answer to the question, I'm going to go find it on YouTube maybe and then go deliver it to him.
Right.
Because now that I've done that, instead of just saying go YouTube it, now I'm sending somebody to make somebody else famous and continue their growth when I can get that myself, right?
You know what's crazy about that too is, all right, I'm speak to you business owners. If you have somebody who respects your craft and they want to learn from you, and this is part of your business, to send them away shows you are not a people person and you are in the people business. How does it make sense to have somebody come into your store looking for something and you send them to another store? It makes no sense at all. If you are in the people person business and you do not want to have a social network so that you can engage with people, are you really in the people business? Like, you may have to reconsider if you are, because you can gain people skills on social media too. It wouldn't be the same as talking face to face. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're ignoring people, if you leave them on red, you're showing your personality. Digitally, you're showing it, that you ignore, that you're not engaging, that you don't like to talk. Anybody, I've gotten clients just from responding.
Bro.
Just from responding. It was like, the guy called me. I was packing up my car, so I didn't answer right away, but I called him back in like 3 minutes, and he was like, "Oh, you called me back."
Yeah, thanks for calling me back right away. Like, you're such a quick response. I'm like,
I was common courtesy. You called me, so I'm gonna call you back.
Yeah.
You text me, I'm gonna text you back. You DM me, I'm gonna DM you back, because it's common courtesy. It's part of my personality, and people don't have that. They say they're people persons, but ignore.
I feel like in people that do ignore, they miss out on so much. Because let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's give an example. Somebody reaches out to me on Instagram in my DM. I respond. That person is not on the same level as me. Is far, far gone beyond the level of it's just super basic, super beginner. But I help that person. That person's super appreciative. That person goes tells 3 other people about me. One of those persons comes, asks me a question. That person goes tells 5 people about me. That 5th person comes and books me for a shoot for a wedding that I did for $4,000.
It's all connected.
You know what I'm saying? It's all connected. And if you don't believe that, you're a fool.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But everything is connected in some way, form, or fashion. Like Sim said with the whole your social media page. If somebody goes to your page and they're not wowed or they're not like impressed by what they see because it's just a bunch of random things, they're gonna leave. You always have that. There's that saying that you only have one opportunity to make a first impression. Social media, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, because social media, everybody that you run into on the street has an account. If I go to your page and I don't like what I see, I'm never, probably ever going to go to your page again.
No. Why would I?
Why would I? Because I didn't like what I seen the first time. It's likely it's not going to get better, right? And there's so many other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. I could just go over here, and I was like, oh, I do like this person's page, so I'm gonna work with him.
Might as well.
We'll kick this episode off. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit up Sim. Tell him where to find you.
Hey, you can look me up, Sim Shots or SEMESEM on Instagram, or you can go to Simeon on YouTube. My page is just starting out, so there's only a few videos on there, but the more subscribers, the better. And I post a lot of tips and helpful things on there in regards to filmmaking.
Hey man, it's been the Vision More Podcast. If you like what we see, if you like what you see, if you like what we're doing, man, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share the content. I know this conversation was dope. We're definitely gonna have Sim back and do some more content, some more episodes, because we can just sit here and talk for hours. So, hey man, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
I've been all in my bag. You been all in my business. You be all in your feelings. I've been all in them trenches. I've been all in my bag.